This is a public service announcement for the citizens and the subjects of Her Majesty's County of Westmoreland. And this is not an address to all of you from an official or from a public official or anything of such kind. I'm only just one of your neighbors. I'm one of the fathers here in this village. And I've never been convicted of a crime against persons or properties anywhere in Her Majesty's dominions. I've served in Her Majesty's forces, and I swore very serious oaths to Her Majesty and to all of you, and through her Charter of Rights and Freedoms here in Canada. And in that spirit and in that sense of obligation, I come to all of you at a very grave time of grave news. And if by chance Her Majesty can hear this, I beg of her forgiveness, for I am sorry, Highness. I am ashamed of my fellow servants here, and I am not glad of the news that I bring to you. But in order to serve you, and to serve your subjects here, to avoid a dishonor to you, to me, or any violation on my part of my duty to you and what that would bring, I am bound, and proudly so, under my oath to your Highness, to my neighbors I come here today. And they are in terrible pain, your Majesty, and so today must be another tragically sad news day. And so I will tell you that it begins with a sunrise today for me. And what is a terrible day that marks the 1,096th day since I've seen my child, or heard of him, or know anything of him at all. I've miraculously somehow met his special needs teacher somehow. She was fired from her job. She was perhaps the only special person left in my child's life that he could trust, that he had left in his life. She told me that he has been told that his papa has gone off to war. That is the excuse that they have given. It seems perhaps it is this lie, or perhaps it is a dream that he creates in his own head to deal with his grief of our loss, of our separation. But in either case, what this person has described to me is the ongoing neglect and abuse of my child. He is trapped. He is trapped in a prison that is created and maintained by those who put him there. This special needs worker told me my child is in agony, confusion, grief, and pain. And this is intolerable. This is destroying my child's life. Today marks an anniversary that even now is being stolen from us. It has been taken from us, like everyone else. But I want him to know, and I want all of you to know. And perhaps for those who might not have heard a famous expression, it can't rain every day. And so even strangely, sadly today, I will again have to have a day not focused on him. We must mark it, of course, but then we move on to our work, for those are the obstacles. That is the nature of the path that is shut, and so we must clear it. So I start with housekeeping businesses here in our jurisdiction. There are some famous parliamentarians that we should be proud to have in our jurisdiction here in Her Majesty's Westmoreland. So we will start with the notices for that housekeeping for those officials, those parliamentarians, and those persons here. I wanted to ask some very particular questions of a particular litigator in this jurisdiction here of Her Majesty's Westmoreland, and I wanted to ask if they've ever heard of the word Panzerjäger. Because that word means panther hunter or panther killer. I trained in such tactics as a young man so very long ago, and I can assure you that I know my predators. And I've learned that the best way to catch one is to find out what they eat. You have to learn about their prey. You have to learn about their relationship, of the nature that it has to that predator. And once you find their garbage, once you find the bits that are left behind, if you follow their prey for long enough, if you are lucky, and if you follow carefully, you will find your predator. And that is precisely why we are here today. Because I have followed the predator to his trough. The clue is in the legislation that this individual put forwards in regards to human trafficking. And such a clue might not be obvious to many of you. But for someone like me, who chases someone like him, it tells me that this legislation is tabled and that he reveals himself by trying to modify something that he wants access to, or to something that he is in access of, but he wishes to legitimize somehow. Some of you might be confused. Of course you are. But for the person that I'm referring to, this is patently obvious to me and many others, and he should feel some very real fear right now. I don't ask questions that I don't already know the answers to. And this person has tripped on their own ego, in many ways, on their own sword. And I have been there to catch it. I've followed predators to the source, to their feast, to the site of their leftovers, to the bones they've forgotten, just like the bones of my mother, left on 7th Street, in the dust, in disgrace. The misery and suffering caused by their presence here is unbelievable, and it is leading to the disintegration of our entire way of life. Her Majesty's subjects and citizens are being preyed upon by those who are supposed to protect them. I want all of those responsible to understand that I am coming for them all. I am going to drag them here, to our house, one by one by one. That is the notice that I provide here today, in fulfillment of my oath to Her Majesty and to all of you. You are my neighbors and my fellow villagers, and I cannot and I will not stand by, and neither will you. Which brings us to the business of today. I would like to read a portion of a submission that is ignored by the the Attorney General of Her Majesty's Canada, and also the Attorney General of the Province of New Brunswick. And it has been ignored here in this House since November 23rd, 2018. The section from this binder, registered on November 19th, 2021, here in this House by myself. And I'm only going to refer to a very small section that directly applies to the grace that has been shown to me by one of the good and honorable justices of our House here. And so, he agrees that certain matters that I'm involved in here involve our public interest and also matters of justice. And so I will not talk about the issues of our matter, but I will refer to matters of public interest. And please understand that I am only a self-represented litigant, a self-represented individual. I represent myself, yes, but I do my best to work here in this place with honor and integrity, as many of the professionals here in our jurisdiction aspire to do. We are in different clubs, I guess you could say, but this place behind me is a vital institution, and we both have immense respect and have put incredible efforts into participating here, and in our own ways, I suppose, in maintaining it. So from section 23, line 23, from page 15 of a submission that was made on September 19th, I would like all litigants and of my honorable fellows, whether professional, anywhere in this jurisdiction or not, who may have represented litigants, respondents, or defendants in this House between the dates of June 25th, 2021 and June 30th, 2021, because the officials here have committed one of the largest data breaches in the history of this jurisdiction. And I am the one who has the evidence of the data breach, and I request that all of you urgently contact me, because officials that are supposed to be serving all of us in this House have neglectfully and willfully allowed a massive data breach of confidential information and evidentiary materials for dozens of litigants here. This is a massive liability issue that we have in common here, and it must be discussed with the professionals in this jurisdiction immediately, and I will provide contact information down below. It is urgent for both you and your clients, and for me, I suppose, for what is essentially one of the largest scandals in the history of Her Majesty's County of Westmoreland. It is embarrassing, it is appalling, and it is humiliating, because it is at the hands of the very officials that are responsible for protecting our vital informations here. So I urge you to contact me to protect your client's interests, and for everyone else, if you're having difficulties in this jurisdiction, if your life involves this place, and if our officials here are involved in your life and you have many questions, it's time for you to start talking to your neighbors. It's time for you to start talking again. And if you want things to change, you must stand up. If legal affairs interest you, then you need to start looking at sources outside the mainstream. Here in Canada, they have been paid nearly $500 million. They are lying to all of you because they were paid to. If you want facts and if you want to learn to think critically again, then you need to understand the facts of our world right now. So please check out and support YouTube content creators like Nick Ricada, or Ian Runkle, or David at Viva Frey, or even David Barnes. Most of them are forces that are joining forces to enlighten you, to inspire you, and sometimes give total coverage to some of the most important legal issues of our times. So please follow their content, like and subscribe to all of their channels and take part, and understand that these issues that confront all of us require participation. Get some exercises for your rights and for your brains. Listen to the perspectives of your neighbors and those who are trying to find the truth. Like them, I am here to do the only thing that I honorably know how. And every single one of you out there has the capacity to change things in your own ways and in your own circumstances if you would make up your kind of tomorrow in your mind that you want to leave for our children tomorrow. Get off your asses and help clean up this garbage. That is my appeal to all of us. Help each other in any ways that you can. These are your rights that are being fought for here in places just like this. Not just mine. I also want to reach out to Claude Mackenzie. The Wolastoqiyik people here in New Brunswick need your spirit here, brother. And so I say, salut mon chum, c'est le temps de réveil encore. Il faut qu'on le fait de nouveau, et on a besoin. So please don't forget that, and thank you for listening to my expression to Her Majesty today. If she hears me, I am sorry, Majesty. It is not good news, and I am not proud of it. But it is what we have here, and I will face it, and I will do what I must, and I will not fail, and I will not dishonor my house. It is the tomorrow for our children that I fight for here, and I deliver to your highness, from your loyal subjects in the colonies, that Her Majesty still inspires, she still maintains our trust, she still possesses our faith, and she has our love. So thank you to her. Long live the Queen, and may God bless Her Majesty's County of Westmoreland. And thank you to all of you.
Thank you.